What's happening? Welcome to another episode of Ahipara New Build. If you guys are enjoying the content, make sure you freaking click the subscribe button, because we freaking got heaps of tips and tricks, start to finish on this jobby. In this episode, we're going to be talking about paper. The paper tapes, sill supports, and vermin strips, alright? Now, as you can see, I've actually already started papering, because I'm a fucking beast. But, let's just firstly talk about, I guess, the laps of the paper, right? Now, as you can see, ideally we don't want any laps, but there's going to be certain situations where you need to lap it. Obviously, vertically, there's going to be laps, but horizontally, you're either going to run out of paper, or there's going to be a certain situation where you're going to need to cut it and then start again. So, in this situation, the scaffolders were up doing their thing yesterday, and they actually use poles connecting to the frame to hold their studs up. I mean, I guess their uprights or their standards, to get them nice and plumb, to make sure that their scaffolding is perfect. So I couldn't actually do this run yesterday, so I cut it off, finished it here. I like to finish it on the corners. A corner, right? Now we need 150mm lap. The reason I like to do it on the corner, because I'll actually, when I start this roll, right, I'll actually go past probably another 100mm or something and wrap it around, and that way I feel safe that no water is ever going to get in behind this paper, around, and then through to the framing. That's in an ideal world. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not a major. There's these laps for a reason, but I just like to do it that way, where possible. Hey, welcome! Hope you guys enjoy, baby. Let's get it! Woo! Papering by yourself, eh? The man. Stuff you, Fabian. Because I'm now going to go back down to the same corner I just stapled, and I'm just going to pull it tight on a diagonal. Now, get rid of the excess. I'm going to pull it tight down like that, and also across. So, I want to be sort of pulling down that way. Just like that. Play around with it. Just feel what way is the best. Pull down. And again, another 10 staples. If you can. And then just pull tight this way. Along the edge. And then I can start working my way down. So putting a bit of pressure on it, not too much because we've already got it tight. Now, I want to try and do things systematically. Obviously, I don't want to be up and down, up and down, up and down on the scaffolding. So I've actually already got a fixed point there, so I can actually roll the paper out down here. It's going to be easier for me walking on the ground instead of trying to hold it up there. Okay, so now before I carry on, obviously my paper roll ran out. I just want to relieve the paper of any pressure, and by doing that I'm just going to cut the windows out. Just cut the windows out, 45 on the corners, along, and that's just going to allow the wind to pass through without damaging the rest of the paper. So like that. for now temporarily tack it in. Go through and do it all later. Okay, just before I finish off papering this internal corner, I just wanted to mention that I've gone through and I've put nogs in between our nog blocks, so we've got plenty of fixing in here. I know in the previous on previous jobs I've forgotten to do it. I've had to pull the paper off and put it back in, especially when there's two different cladding details. We've got our vertical abodo going through here, and then we've got our span lock coming through this way, so we want plenty of fixing in there before we paper up. Obviously, papering a house with one person isn't ideal, but it is possible, right? Now, if you're a good chippy, you will understand that 95% or even 99% of the jobs can actually be done by yourself, and that's a cool way to think about it, right? You can actually build a whole house by yourself. Now, there's going to be certain situations where you can't, but yeah. So first things first, I want to roll the paper out so there's a bit of slack in it, right? A bit of slack in the paper so I can actually pull this up, my top edge. Now in this situation, I'm actually just using the top of this packer plate as my guideline, so I don't have to frickin' mark up and chalk. I've actually got about 100mm overhang underneath, but it's just easier this way. So like I said earlier, just give about 100mm overlap. Goddamn stapler. Now you want to frickin' load this bad boy up, baby. Probably want to put at least 10 staples in it, in this corner. My stapler's frickin' stuffing up. It's not a good start. Back up. Now, the wind is starting to pick up, so I have to sort of do this a different way now. Like ideally I want to do 4 corners on a big run, and then go through and staple it off, but it's going to be pretty much impossible to do that with some wind. So what I've done is I've sort of started at one end, then I've worked my way about halfway down, stapled a little bit more, stapled, all while pulling it this way. And now instead of going down and pulling the corners tight, I'm actually just going to line the top of the paper up here with my packer plate and go through and nail it on, and that way the wind can still flow through underneath, and this paper's like almost like a big sail, and then once I sort of get a break in the wind down there, I'll go through and pop, 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 pop. But yeah. Right, back on site this morning, all the wrap is complete. Woohoo! Stoked as. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and just trim all this paper out. Cut the window openings, 45, 45, 45. Oops, didn't have to be accurate like that. Then I just pull it tight around. Now I like to wrap the paper around and staple it to the front face of the stud here. I've seen in the past builders cut it off on this edge through here, but I don't really like to do it that way, because whenever you go to try and jam your PEF rod in, when the window's in, your PEF rod and seal, the paper just folds back. So actually, I just like doing it like this. Down the middle, that way you get a nice clean line. Now, just like that, and then I'll just staple this on here because the wind is blowing hard and I just don't want to go pick up all the paper afterwards. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, don't do that. Make your work look like shit. Right, all the openings are cut out, frickin' smashing it, which is really good. Now it's time to cut all our tapes. Now there's different widths, you can see this. There's a 200, 150, 75. They all have different purposes. The 150 is for a 90mm wool, the 200 is for a 60mm wool, and then the 75 is for our little angle fillets. So I've just gone through, measured every single window, and then added 400mm to all my measurements, because the tape is actually going to be sitting along the sill and then up 200 each side. So I'm now going to measure all those measurements out onto this. So I have to pull my tape out once, not fucking 100 times. Numbers, pattern systems, and cut all this shit. Alrighty, Tim Tidy. Got them all cut out, ready to rock and roll, baby. Now this is a bit of a different tape system, to be honest with you. I've never used it before. Tape and paper. It's like a little bit more synthetic-y, this paper, to be honest. Dry stud, wool wrap, apparently. So this system, we don't actually need any orange corners that sit in here. We just use 150mm tape. And I don't know if I like it or not yet, but that's what it shows on the specs, so that's what we're doing. Pretty much just pull it off, put it on a 45. Now I'm going to sit this up just a little bit into the corner, just like that, and then just fold the corner down in like that, so there's a bit more protection. Also very hard to get that fucking plastic off the thing. Again, come up, 45, bang in the middle, fold the corner over. So we're really only relying on this little bit to protect the timber from water, but hey, is what it is. We get a roller out. Now I've oversized these a bit. We need a 200mm upstand, so I've just done 210. It's all good. Get that in. And try and get this frickin' wrap off. It sucks. One thing I'll suggest is keep your nails long for it, because it's so hard to get off. Now I'll just start whatever way you like doing it, doesn't really matter, but like left or right side, but start from this side makes it easier for me, I think. Tap it like that, just really pull it on, then line it up with the framing down that front edge. Should probably turn this off. Then I'll just pull the plastic back a bit, grab my ruler, because this doesn't come with a little spatula, and I'll just come off as close into the corner as possible. Boom. Just like that. Squeeze it down, put that back in. Now I'll just slowly, looks like the framing's out a bit there for some reason, what the heck. Wow, flush on that side and then, anyway. Make sure we got a good bearing point there. Now because of the wind it's freaking difficult to get sort of nicely lined up, but just work your way along. Tapping it down, I'll bring it out.
pull that up all the way off. Stupid plastic. And then just use my ruler and guide it into the corner. Boom. Tight corners every time. Try not to drop your rulers like that. And then this part here, I'm not going to cut bang in the corner, I'm just going to come out, I don't know, 5mm, wrap it round, and also fold it down like that. Wrap it round, fold it down. We get that sort of nice cover on the corner. And that's pretty much it for our tapes for the sill. Nice clean, no wrinkles, so it does come out quite nice. Just don't like that part, but it's alright. Just guess I'm used to orange corners, but they do bulge out a bit, those orange corners, so this is actually better in that way, but weather tightness wise, yeah, that. Clean. Give it a rub down. On to the next.
Fuck yeah! Hey! Fuck, he's done that once or twice. Back on site this morning, fucking roofers are here making fucking a noise. Fucking going hard. Roof's going on. Now when it comes to the top, the fucking window tape, this is to get off, so I just use my knife, slide it in. Yeah, I'll do this side. Slide it fucking in like this. Like that, and then see how it sort of fucking peels off? Easier like that, sticks to the knife. Bro, because my fucking fingernails are non-existent. Anyway, I need this side. First of all, I fold this in. We need 200 cover down this way and this way. So I've cut these at like 420 to give myself a little bit of 420 blazer. Bit of play, just in case the inspector's an anal cat. Then just grab it like this, pinch it in the corner, stick it up like that, and then try and line it up with the back side like this. And then give it a rub down. Now we want to get it tight in the corners. The reason I want to get it tight in the corner is when the window goes in, it could potentially catch this if there's around, you know, and it's just good practice. If it, like, let's just say I fucking go like this. You can see that there's a freaking big hole here where the fucking tape's not attached to the, but yeah. And then line it up like that. And then just, oh, try not to do that. And then that way all the timber around the windows is actually protected. And then, sort of like the bottom, we have this 150mm by 75mm piece of tape. Now down the bottom it goes underneath this piece of tape, but on top it goes
up the top here, it goes on top. The reason being is we've got to follow the water, right? So you can see the paper laps over the top of the underneath side, so we've got to follow that with all our stuff, with all our flashings and everything. So this tape here sits on top of it, so you can imagine tape comes, that water comes down, comes over the top of it. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.